It's Cash Color Cannabis, a higher level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv. And this episode is sponsored by Cannabis Clothing. Everything from our Cannabis to our Drug Lord and Return to Viper collections are all available for purchase. If you head to the website and shop tonight, between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. when the show is on, you can save 10% of your order when you use promo code Cash Color Cannabis. So make sure you stop by tonight and shop tonight with us. If you want to drop that off, you can real quick before I do my next part. And I got special guests in the building tonight, man. I love when I have people from out of town on the show, man, who can kind of add a different level of flavor to the higher level of conversation. And that's my man Kern Alexander with the Higher Collection. We're gonna get in tonight about the brand, the Higher Collection, how Kern got himself into cannabis, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, Kern, appreciate you coming through, man.
Man, thank you for having me here. Thank you for my great PR team for putting it together, making the link happen.
Can I say something? Shout out to your PR team for giving the first proper email I've gotten from a publicist in so long. Like, she didn't email me and say immediately, I need this, that, and the third. She offered service. She said, hey, I have a client. He would be good for quotes and this, that, and the third. And I was like, I ain't seen that in about 6-7 years. Like,
she's
damn.
She's dope.
She's a publicist, not a PR. I appreciate that.
Word.
But Kurt, let's get into you, man. I appreciate you coming through. For those who don't know or haven't, or definitely aren't familiar with the brand and what you do yet, please introduce yourself.
All right, so I'm Kern Alexander. Own a company by the name of the Higher Collection. Started the company back in late 2015, early 2016. When I first got into it, like I was kind of saying earlier when we were off air, I had just transitioned from working for the government. So
what was you doing for the government?
A lot of interesting things. I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
For a lot of years, and then I moved on to do a lot of fun things.
Be lucky you're not working for the government right now, because apparently everybody's back to work but the government.
Man.
It's the worst position to be in possible is to be working in the government, be the one guy at the desk.
No, that's facts, because they definitely on like low rotations and all kind of.
They're not playing right now. Like, literally, it took me. I went and got a passport, renewed my passport in May.
Sheesh.
I got my passport this week, Monday. Like, I paid for an expedited process. It went through the whole thing. Like, it was just it was annoying, man. But it proved to me that y'all telling everybody else to go back to work while y'all chilling.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I just see something on CNN talking about how long the process is for the passports.
Oh,
now.
yeah,
it's nuts. So
yeah, I lucked out.
Yeah, but no. So yes, worked for the government, got done. When I transitioned out, went to the VA. You know, like a lot of other veterans do. Left the VA with a bag full of medications, pills, all kind of pills. A lot of crazy pills. Started taking them. You know, they were supposed to make me feel better, and they didn't. One of my buddies, shout out to my boy Randall, he has a company down in Paso Robles, which is called Confidential Biotherapy. And he was in the cannabis space first. And he was like, man, look, you know, medicinal right now, you could come in, create a collective, maybe of other veterans, and, you know, you guys can kind of like, you can service them with cannabis, you know, on the medicinal side. So I literally had $2,500 to my name. So the one thing they don't tell you when you transition out of the military is just how much regular things cost now. You know? For real, like, I was so comfortable on getting that check every 1st and 15th. Like, I had like $10,000 in the bank. I thought I was doing something. I was like,
you was hoodballing.
Yeah, but then once I got out, I was like, man, that $10,000 in like 2 months, I was like, sheesh. Yeah, that thing was gone. So kind of took what I had, and $2,500 got me in the game back then on the medicinal side. Started a collective of other veterans who pretty much were dealing with the same thing I was, just didn't want to have all those medications. And I was essentially kind of their supplier for cannabis. We would sign them up under the collective, and then we grew that to about 500 patients. About 500 patients we had.
Word, man.
Yeah, and then that was out of the garage. So like late 2016, going into 2017 was when I kind of started formulating my team, putting my team together, because the garage was working for that. But then as we started getting bigger, we realized like I just couldn't do it all myself anymore.
Yeah. You got to expand out and you're gonna get bigger. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to make a brand that is unique, and that's kind of hard to do right now in the space because so much does seem like it's I don't want to say cookie cutter, but so much seems like it's similar. Like, what are you doing to make sure that Higher Collection is a unique brand when it comes to cannabis and comes to cannabis consumption?
So that's so funny because we hear that question so much. Like I hear that a lot. What are you doing to kind of separate yourself from everybody else? And my answer to that is, I'm not trying to separate myself from everybody else. At the end of the day, there are a lot of good medicine providers in the state of California where we are. On our end, we focus on delivering quality cannabis to our patients, whether it's on the medicinal or on the adult use side. And everybody has good products. So for us, what we started to do was we started to try to capture more of the space because, as you said, the space is very flooded. And instead of trying to like fight the flood, essentially you just have to make things cheaper for you. And then if you get good quality product at cheaper prices, then you automatically kind of separate yourself just by profit margin, really. So we started with the distribution side and then the retail side. Distribution because we could kind of go buy product in bulk, and break it down in distro. And then we had the retail, so we had a delivery side, so we could just push it over to our delivery side and then get that to our customers. So when you buy in bulk, of course, everybody know you buy in bulk, you're going to get a cheaper price. So we would get it a cheaper price. So right there, we're saving money right there where the average Joe may not have both of those pieces. And then we added another piece last year during COVID. Shout out to my boys at Burn Clean Genetics. So Burn Clean Genetics, that's our farm side now. So now we have three aspects of the industry. We have the flower side taken care of, we have the middleman taken care of, and we have the customer taken care of. So that in itself kind of separated us.
Solid, man. Well, it sounds like you're doing solid business, especially out in California. Since Prop 64 happened, I feel like it's almost like still the Wild West out in California. Since Prop 64 happened, I know a lot of people weren't even fans of that, but now that that's happened, like, what's it like working outside? What's it like working in California as far as trying to get yourself established?
Man, I just wish that they would lower these damn taxes, boy.
That ain't
California, they taxing the shit out of us, man. But honestly, Prop 64, I really like that model because I felt like it was more of a helping model. Coming from the positions that I work, just for the government, my job was to kind of like help people, So when I came into cannabis, I came in under the mindset of like, how can we make a change in somebody else's life, So going recreational, pricing went through the roof. So for us, we make sure that we try to keep our medicinal program as strong as our recreational program, because there are some people who they just want to pay that flat rate, no tax, no upcharge, so it kind of keeps those customers as well.
It's crazy, like the fact that we even still use terms medical and recreational, when in all reality, cannabis is medical. You know what I mean? Like how you feel about even those terms, like the fact that we have to still break it down in terms of medical and recreational.
Man, well, what it is I like it because I feel like now there's more structure to it. Like back in the day, I could go for my boy, just go grab some weed. I wouldn't know what I was smoking. I wouldn't know what I was kind of ingesting. And then I think that kind of put a bad stigmatism on the product because you didn't know what you were smoking. You didn't know if you had an indica, if you had a high sativa, and then some people don't even like those two terms. Like some people don't even like you to say like indica, sativa, or hybrids. But back then you didn't know what you were smoking. So now I feel like with those terms, on the recreational side, we have things that are strictly recreational products, and then on the medicinal side, you have things that can help you if you have PTSD, if you have lack of sleep, if you have like, say you're having issues focusing. Like there's some crazy OGs out there that could like lock you in. You clean the whole house 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of I like that breakout and I like that structure because I want to be able to walk down the street and smoke weed. If I could get hit by a whiff of cigarette I should be able to get hit by it with a marijuana as well.
Yeah, I feel you. But, you know, part of our show is to make sure that we could destigmatize the use of cannabis and the cannabis consumers overall. You know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, just like you had mentioned, I don't mind. Like, I'm not a drinker. I'm not big on drinking, but I don't mind people doing it. I've been to plenty of events where people drink and they don't have no issue with it. You should have the same non-issue.
That's what I'm saying.
If I roll up this blunt, you should have the same non-issue.
Because statistically, if we look at it, I'm pretty sure cigarettes have killed more people than marijuana
Oh,
have.
facts, man.
But at the end of the day, I still got to sit around if you at the smoke pit smoking your cigarette.
Yeah.
So for us, we understand that there has to be structure for there to be able the acceptance. You know, like you got to be able to like create some sort of structure that people can abide by, and then once we realize that we can abide by it, then you know, hopefully it can destigmatize it and make it more regular. We have customers from lawyers to, I mean, people who you wouldn't even think smoke weed, you know, but at the end of the day, for us, we have a delivery model. So we actually go to the customer and deliver to their door. So I feel like a lot of people use our model only because they don't want to sometimes walk into a dispensary, show that face, you know what I mean, and have to buy that product.
You know, that's the main reason why I'm ready for recreational to come to Georgia. And it's going to sound lazy, but I just want a delivery service. You know what I mean? Like, I want a proper delivery service. Shout out to my boy Devin Alexander up in Massachusetts. I want a rolling relief. You know what I mean? Like, I want that to be able to pull up at the crib and just drop
So
off
that's the thing. Y'all got to start championing it now. Like we were talking earlier, we knew application was only open for about a week.
Yeah, short window.
Short window out here. 6 applicants they took. We weren't one of them, you know. Although, but it, you know, those are the type of things you got to start championing for now, though. Like because, like I was saying, even the auxiliary space is huge. If you don't get into cannabis, at least get into the things that the cannabis space needs. Packaging. Look at this shit.
Facts.
You know how much we pay for this shit?
Yeah.
Like we pay crazy money for this.
Let me see
packaging.
that. That's actually good packaging,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Shout out my boys at Burn Clean Genetics, man.
This is pretty. I like the priority packs, too. Like, I just had to spend some money at the mailbox recently, man.
Yeah. So let me tell you about these 2 brands.
Yeah.
So Hemp Trails is kind of like our military-focused brand.
Okay.
Everything medicinal, everything kind of, if you have an ailment, we want to kind of figure out different ways to heal that ailment, so we take those pills away from you. So Hemp Trails is more of our military brand. And then, of course, the Priority Pack Bros, that's more of our recreational brand. We all know Priority Packs. You know, we're playing off the different names, but both, you know, serve great purposes. Both come from our genetics company, Burn Clean Genetics. And like I said, we just decided we had to capture more of the space, and that's what kind of like separated us from, you know, others within the space.
You know, getting into the business of cannabis, like most, it's a regular business. Like most regular businesses, you're going to need mentors. You're going to need people who kind of assist you throughout that way. Was it hard for you to find mentorship in the cannabis space? You know, like as far as people who you felt like you could genuinely trust for advice, genuinely trust for kind of guidance down this path?
It's a cutthroat business.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. You know, I'm not gonna say that it's the more mentor friendly business, only because folks are. You gotta deal with genuine people. You know, some people will try to bully you in this space. Like they'll try to bully you within the space. They'll try to push you to do, or they'll try to push you to like push product that is not really like me as a distributor, and I go straight to the customer. If you're a farmer, if you don't give me a good quality product and it doesn't move through my distribution and it doesn't move to my customer, there should be a communication that goes back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, hey, this didn't work. Let's figure it out. Yeah. It's a cutthroat business, so they like, look, make it work, make it. So sometimes you stuck with product $15,000, $16,000 worth of inventory tied up that you can't move sometimes, you know. So then you turn it to oils, or you turn it to figure out different ways to use it. But
I don't want to give away or turn it into a pop up. I don't want to give away. Pull up in a pop up.
Well, in California, we sell perfectly legal cannabis now, please. So. No, but you know, like, so those are the type of, like, mentorship would be great, and the one thing that I've learned within the space is time is a big thing. Like, there's not a lot of time. You know, when I first started in the industry, The reason why I decided to go so hard in the beginning is because in my last job, I was working 15, 16 hours, no sweat, you know. And if I could do that for somebody else, in the beginning, you had to do that for yourself. Shout out my CEO, Miss Ayana Young. When we first linked up, like maybe like late 2016, early 2017, I was every night I was up frustrated about some shit. I was calling her like, and she was up too, like, yo, how can we figure this out? You know, so those are the type of people that you got to make sure like you take with you when you form your team. It's the folks that's like there. But a lot of times it would be good to have mentorship in this space, but like if you're in the mindset of competition, then that's difficult. For us, we're not in the mindset of competition. We're in the mindset of trying to help as many people as we can. So, you know.
Yeah, you know, and speaking of cutthroat, you're in a space now where, and I guess we actually deal with it a lot on the podcast level as well, where you're watching people who are celebrities get into your business, you know, and celebrity names are always going to move the needle quicker than your name. Mm-hmm. How do you feel when you're watching rappers, when you're watching basketball players jump into this space? And they might not have the best quality product. They might not have they literally have a name. They don't have a quality product. Like, how are you feeling about some of these people coming into this space, or is that even a concern to you?
For me, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, because those are the big names. They move the needle. Like, I'm very much understanding of there's a level to all this shit. Like, there's certain levels that they hit. I saw a list the other day that said Jay-Z was one of the most influential people in cannabis.
Jay-Z, you know what's crazy about that even happening? From the minute I listened to Jay has always spoke about not smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? Like from Reasonable Doubt, Jay has always spoke about not smoking weed. Like, that's totally his wife. Like, his wife had to get him into smoking weed. Because bro has just started talking about this and putting it in his words.
Man, and you know, I love it because he's a needle pusher.
Yeah,
you know?
And he's done that.
And it's not a lot of people that's going to push back when you're a billionaire. So for us little millionaires coming up, like, what we would love from them is reach back, like give that mentorship, like show us how to take that 10 million and make it 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. Yeah. What they really need to show us how to stop selling our companies, man. I just feel like in the beginning when we first started this, there were so many companies, foreign companies coming in wanting to throw so much money at you just so that you could be a face and then they could be the money kind of pumping behind you. Yeah. And we need people who understand business and know, like, no, don't sell your shit to somebody else. Like, keep it, build it. It's tough. Like, my first couple years, it was tough, you know?
You know, it's hard to be a Cookies. Like, Burner really put the time and effort into...
Shout out to Cookies. We just moved on that Cookies campus in Oakland.
He really took the time to really build that up. I feel like I watch a lot of brands now, especially celebrity brands. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's nothing more... The only thing you're doing is trying to build your presence so you can sell this. Like, I don't think that this is the core thing that you're trying to build up. So it takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of people don't want to put that time and effort. They see it as a lick right now.
Right. And like you were saying, you know, some people, they get into space. When those big celebrity brands come in and they are looking for product, come on over to the Higher Collection. We have a full genetics company. We have because that's how we're going to get the industry moving.
Fact.
Like, you know, they are the movers and shakers. They put it in songs. They put it in like, come on, come off.
Man, come over there and make sure y'all mention them. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't jump out and be like, I got my own strain.
Yep. And that's the piece that folks got to understand. Like, a strain and packaging, there's a lot that goes in behind that.
Yeah.
And artists do have to show that
respect
line.
The farmer.
Yeah,
respect the where
farm,
you got the
respect
grow
the
from.
distribution.
Yeah.
Because they don't own any of that. I can guarantee they don't own well, some of them may, but I know most of them don't. It's not where they own the farm or the distributor or any of that. They just come in and they work really good deals to get their hands on a good product.
It's a good marketing opportunity. I honestly see the plus of it. It's a good marketing opportunity if you are a grower or something like that. But mention my name. You know what I'm saying? Like stop telling people you got a strain when you know good and damn well this strain came from out here and I'm the one putting my hands in the dirt every day.
But you know what though? A lot of these farmers, what we've noticed and what we've experienced over the years is a lot of the farmers, they don't want that. They want to just be that. Like, because a lot of these people that's growing cannabis...
Been doing it for a while. They've been doing it.
And then they're farmers. So cannabis is just a crop that they grow. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Cleveland in Yolo County. That was my first farmer that... he put me in the farm industry, like, kind of put me on game and how to understand that. Cannabis is just a crop that's a part of the farming industry. Like, and that's how most farmers think. I grow this crop to the best of my ability. I want somebody else to come in and put their name on it and push it and make sure that my like shelves aren't stocked up and my weed go, because that's where it go bad, is if it got to stay at the farm crazy
just
long.
sitting there. Yeah.
Just
You want-
sitting there.
It's like you mentioned, it's any other crop. Like if I'm growing lettuce, you know what I'm saying? I need this lettuce to move because this lettuce just sitting here.
You definitely don't want your lettuce to sit there
No,
and go
no,
bad.
you definitely don't want to sit there and watch it go bad, man.
Right.
So we watched the. We're in a great time right now when it comes to cannabis because we started off, especially when I started doing the show, there was really a lack of people of color speaking about it, getting involved with it, even being interested in the space. And now, we're still low in numbers, but now it's beautiful for me to be able to see owners like yourself and many others who came on the show. How do you feel about watching more black and brown people get into this space from the ownership side?
Man, please do. Like, and folks need to take advantage of all the states where it's medicinal. Let's list these are keys to success right here.
Yeah.
The medicinal route is probably the cheapest route to get into the space.
I heard you talking about that over there. The difference between how much you had to pay for a license versus trying to do the recreational.
Yeah, and it's drastic. So most places right now, Oklahoma, hotbed.
Oh, Oklahoma jumping.
If you're a person of color,
yeah,
I would try to get into Oklahoma, try to get into New York, try to get into the places that are getting ready to open up, because this is like the alcohol era, really. Like, and we don't want to miss this train. We didn't have the ability to hop on that train. I know as we see legislation moving through, it's becoming more difficult. Like for people to deny it. It's damn near everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's to the point now where the government's like, all right, well, how can we make our money from it now?
Oh, get in the business, become a board of director on a company.
I mean,
like
get
that's how they
get in, and then again, if your issue is whether it be cash flow or the case, auxiliaries, grinders, trays, papers, packaging, lights, growing tables. Look, I would definitely, if I didn't have so much going on, I would probably go to China, find me a great supplier, and start an auxiliary company.
Yeah.
Because everywhere would need some sort of that piece, So if that threshold is too high to get through that application piece, get into papers, get into like healthier ways to smoke. I smoke out of Rellos.
Oh, we gotta stop you, man.
Yeah, I hate backwoods. Backwoods make me feel nauseous.
Yeah.
I can't deal with those. So
I feel like backwoods smokers are a different level.
it's a different breed of smoking for them.
Yeah. Like you just said, fuck your lungs forever ago. You know what I mean? Like this is just what I'm gonna do.
Right. So like get into healthier options of smoking. Like create, like whoever created that water bong, the shit that Wiz smokes out of.
I see what you're talking about.
Genius.
Yeah.
Like I've been looking for one of those for like 3 months. Like just because it's a genius contraption, and I'm sure just by him taking it to the mainstream, they made a lot of money off that accessory, and they're not even in the space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So think outside the box. This is an early industry, such an early industry that if you think outside the box, like we don't have a lot of edible companies that are locked in that are really, like edibles is another big thing. That I feel like folks can tap into and make a name for themselves as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm loving that, man. It was not so recently, but we had a whole conversation surrounding cannabis use in sports when it came with Sha'Carri Richardson. She failed a drug test, as we all know, that excluded her from the Olympics. And I remember the conversations happening around that about whether or not the Olympics should just go ahead and wash the drug policy, which I feel they should. Speaking of the Sha'Carri Richardson incident, like how did you feel about that when you first heard it?
So, on the sports side of the house, I feel like they pump players with a lot worse things, especially when it comes to pain management. A lot of those opioids and opioid companies that these players are being prescribed are being sued now on high levels because, they created a whole epidemic of.
Oh, you watching the NFL right now? Try to duck that for real.
That's what I'm saying. So, so my thing is, rules are rules at the end of the day. I'm never going to be one to be like, look, but everybody it's in a space where you can't run from it.
My argument with that was when it first happened, my biggest problem was one, why are you testing for it? Y'all should be testing more for doping. That's the biggest issue y'all have always had when it comes to the Olympics. And if you're testing for weed, are you saying that the weed is a performance enhancing drug? Because if so, you need to say that out loud.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
we
can all learn
so that we can
something.
test for it.
Exactly.
So that we can see,
exactly. So if you're not doing that, then what's the ultimate purpose of testing in the first place? Y'all should just watch that all together, because if you're not saying it's a performance enhancing drug, if you're not saying it's worse than if your those thing is looking for doping and this is not a performance enhancing product, then what the fuck are you doing?
I mean,
wasting people's time.
And then you really got to think. So now, if you even look at some law enforcement applications, they don't even ask you about marijuana anymore for local jurisdictions. Yeah. It's not even a question on the application anymore.
Look, if I was out here looking for a job, I'd be mad as hell if somebody asked me to take a drug test. I'd be mad as hell at this point. Bro, why are you even doing this?
Life been stressful these last 2 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, I felt like these last couple of years just kind of ran together.
Ain't no way we coming out of a pandemic and you asking me to take a drug test, bro. I got a lot of stuff in me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? at this point, man, do you need somebody to work here or not?
Right. Oh, and most places do. So
them beggars can't be choosers at this point, bro.
Right.
So, do you actually have a favorite strain?
I do have a favorite strain.
What's yours?
So my favorite strain is OG Kush.
All right. Oh, so you okay? I feel you. Shout out to Tukey Carter. You an OG head.
OG Kush. I felt like how they made that was really it for me. I like to smoke a blunt early in the morning, get my day going, keeps me focused, keeps me on task, and that's what that OG Kush does. To me, it's it just keeps everything lined up. I can smoke it in the morning, and it doesn't get you high to the point where you're couch locked and you can't do nothing.
No, it just keeps you wired.
It keeps you to where you're still moving. You're still. Remember how I said clean the house 4 times? Yep. When I first hit the OG Kush, bro, I smoked a blunt and I was like, yo, this house is. Clean the house 4 times. I'm with you
because the more I learn about how I consume and how different strains affect me, the more I want to do OG and the less I'm I need to stop, because I'll be up at 1 a.m. watching YouTube videos and I'll be down the whole you know what I'm saying, I'm down a whole train of YouTube videos now, and now I'm writing a book and I'm doing all kind of shit and it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, and then I'm a Virgo too, so my mind is always moving when it comes to business opportunities and just figuring out ways to because now you got to figure out retirement. There's no way I'm going to work for anybody else anymore. Yeah. So you got to figure out retirement vehicles, things that could keep you, your family, everything, keep it going for generations. So I'm an OG head. I'm always trying to figure out what that next move is.
I come from hip hop, man. So Redman, I've told this story multiple times over the show. I learned how to roll a blunt in high school listening to Redman's How to Roll a Blunt. That's how deep I am when it comes to rap and weed. Right. I'm watching a lot of rappers now become, we mentioned, prominent faces for a lot of weed brands. Mm-hmm. If there was one MC you could have who could be the representation of the higher collection, who would it be?
I'm from Brooklyn. Hands down, I'm from Brooklyn, so that's Hov. All day long, it's
Well, I thought you was about to say Fabio.
Nah, Fabio. I'm from Brooklyn. Shout out Fabio, but I'm from Brooklyn. I'm 35, so Fabio young. I'm a Hov head, yeah. So Jay-Z really even just that being under that mentorship to me would be
oh, crazy. Man.
Yeah, come on now, just to hear it conversation, so being from Brooklyn, that's your number one. And my CEO, she from Brooklyn too, so we get Hov on board. It's over.
You know what? Shout out to New York, man, bro. New York is definitely a market y'all should be looking into now.
Oh man, yeah, we got some big things coming up in New York. We're just waiting for them to drop this legislation. Yeah. Como up out of there now, so we got to see how that's gonna work out. As far as legislation wise,
I forgot Cuomo's out of there, man. He got real touchy feely, didn't he? Real quick,
man. Sheesh,
I forgot they kicked him all the way out.
He pissed the Republicans off. Yeah, that's what happened. He fucked around and pissed them off.
They got that boy all the way out the paint, man. But yeah, you need to get into that, man. I'm watching even now how they loosen up the laws. You can smoke outside.
You can smoke outside. Yeah. We was just in New York a few weeks back, smoking a blunt in Brooklyn, smoking a blunt in Harlem.
Bro.
Shout out to New York. They got a lot of good things going. They got a lot of smoke. A lot of smoke clubs, I want to say, the apartments that are turning into like smoker lounges.
Oh, it's like
that
Atlanta.
are
Like
popping
I can
up.
see that. Like yeah, it's not a club. We just got a
Yeah.
house. You know what I'm
A house
saying?
pretty much, and it's
we decided this is
organized,
what
and
it
they
is
have
now.
good product, and so New York is definitely moving. Speaking of New York, we got a backpack drive that we're doing on September 11th
Work.
through a nonprofit that I have as well, veterans, taking care of veterans. So on that, we're gonna give away about 500 backpacks, take it back to Brooklyn, set up in a schoolyard out there, give away about 500 backpacks to kids who just need it. It's tough times,
Bro.
It's real tough out there. So for us, we're trying to get in and help as many places as we can. I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, but even Atlanta, the South Side holds a close place in my heart as well. I graduated from Mundy's Mill High School on the South Side.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to make my way back to Atlanta and figure out different ways to help this community. But I had to go to Brooklyn first.
Now I'm about to go back and listen to 2 Chainz. Like, was you one of the people buying weed from 2 Chainz back in the day? Like, remember we ran down the whole line, like Raekwon came to draw and get a pack. I used to serve Bubba Chuck. Like was you
Shout
one
out
of
to
the people?
Southside, man.
Bro.
Southside Atlanta is where it's at, man. Riverdale, Clayton County.
Bro, Atlanta is a special place too, man. But New York is definitely that place. Like I remember, like you mentioned, like we could smoke outside now. I remember being in Gramercy Park. Shout out to my boy Danny Digital. We was out there smoking a blunt, and I was terrified because I was like, one thing I'm not trying to do is go to Rikers. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't trying to go to Rikers or smoking no blunt.
Right.
So I'm happy now
Oh,
that
yeah,
I can
yeah,
walk
yeah.
outside a hotel and say I'm about to light up.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's cool. Like
Yeah.
you literally, police, they ain't tripping.
Good, man. Y'all got
So
other shit.
good.
Y'all got plenty of other shit to worry about.
Yeah, for sure. But New York just being our staple. Shout out to Oakland. Right now we're in like the mecca of cannabis. Right now, where we are, where our headquarters is in Oakland,
Yeah.
and we plan on staying there because there's a lot of good things going on in Oakland. I love bringing up my brand, my friends' brands too. My homegirl, she has a brand out there by the name of Dios.
Okay.
Super dope. My homegirl Mahalit. So when
Is
you
that
guys
is
get
that
a
on
chance-
Marshall Lynch's joint?
No,
it's a different name.
No,
Yeah.
no. Hers is Dios, female black-owned company,
Yeah.
and she's doing her thing. Started in the mud. We were college classmates. We didn't even know we were going to be in the same industry.
Word.
And then she came out with a brand. So Oakland is like the mecca right now of cannabis.
Bro,
There's
I
a
gotta
lot
get
going
out
on
there,
over
man.
there.
Yo, shout out to San Francisco too, man. Shout out to San Francisco
San
Roots and all that, bro.
Francisco
Like
is
I
lit, too.
definitely want to get out there and go touch that
So
that soil.
I mean, you could really, if you want to bring the show on the road, we have our new space opening up. Funny you said Cookies. We're on the Cookies campus in Oakland. Shout out to the Cookies team for allowing us to get on there, and that's our new facility. So once we're done, we have like our art going up right now and some different things. So once we get
Word.
done and that's licensed, we would love to host you out there.
Bro, Herb, you want to go out to Oakland?
For sure, come set up in our conference
come
room,
set out,
and
yeah, smoke
you could
out.
at least kind of see how operations are ran, and just kind of get that real feel. Because what we really want to do is, I really want to start transitioning to where I go and start helping other people. Like right now, I have my company is in very capable hands. Like I said, I got a strong CEO, I got a strong business partner. Shout out to Burn Clean and my boy Jason, and my boy Aaron. So we have a strong team to where now we can get out on the road and like some of these emerging markets kind of teach some of the knowledge that we've learned over time, especially from the growing of the cannabis. We have a whole curriculum on that piece, the growing piece that we tapped in one of our farmers up in Northern California, another black farmer, and he has a coalition of black farmers. So I want to take that on the road. I want to get good cannabis in new spaces where cannabis is becoming legal. So look forward to that. Look, more of that's gonna come out once we put that together.
Kern, when we gonna see higher collection in 10 years?
Whew. Hopefully in multi-state operations. Hopefully very strong in medical research. That's one thing that we're trying to push really, really hard is to get back into our medical roots of cannabis. Recreational side was great, but I felt I love the fact of we had cancer patients who would like monthly. They would like it's clockwork. It's their medicine, they need it for whether it's their ailments, their aches or pains. We had schizophrenic people. We had people who had PTSD who couldn't sleep. So that's fulfilling, like when you can help somebody make their day a little bit better. So hopefully in 10 years we would have cracked the code to one of those ailments via cannabis, and then again, do it in multi-states and help other people get within the space. we want to bring as many people that look like us within the space. Like I don't know how we got to do it, but like this is our opportunity. We are probably the most represented in prison when it comes to this flower and this plant. So if we get represented in prison, we got to represent on the owner side as well, you know.
Yeah, don't get me started on that, because I'm like, I've been to too many conferences where I feel like I see posters of black people in handcuffs, but I don't see no black people in this room, no black people in this panel. But we talking about why we need to legalize it and using my body as the reason why.
So my first cannabis convention I went to back in like 2016, it was in Las Vegas, and it was probably like maybe three or four other black people in there, and it was about 1,600 people in there. And it was only like four of us in there, and it was a conference of owners. You know, I didn't know nothing back then. I was brand new in the game, but I was an owner, so I was gonna go see what's up. Yeah. And then I went to see what's up, and I was like, oh nah, we need to be at least half of this. I mean, you got all people from outside the United States, like who were here as owners representing their companies in these conferences, and I'm like, we got to stop that. We got to stop giving away our companies to like be the face.
Bro, and I feel you, because I used to go to them conferences. I still do go to conferences. And what I do love is watching the evolution. Because I remember my first time going to MJ Biz was in New Orleans, and there was so many black people, we could have had like our own little meetup. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like maybe like 15 of us.
That's dope.
Now you pull up, I was in Vegas last year when we did the year before last when we did the podcast, and it was amazing doing the podcast and just watching so many black people, just from people who just want to get involved to the industry to people who are now owners, people who are just doing business. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to keep moving this. We're going to keep moving this needle. That's dope.
That's dope, yeah. Oh, I know you asked earlier, so, you know, we'll see.
Oh, yeah, you going to come to Vegas,
I'll
right,
talk
man?
with the
Come
team.
to Vegas, man.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk with the team and see. We'll pull up out there in Vegas. Shout out to our Hemp Trails team. They're based out of Vegas. So we're definitely, like I said, multi-state. We're trying to get into that multi-state operation mode.
Word. Kern, let people know how they could find you, how they could learn more about the Higher Collection. How can they do all that online?
So, you know, check out our Instagram, the Higher Collection brand on Instagram. My Instagram is whack just because I honestly don't have time to like put as much as I want to in the Instagram.
That's no excuse, man. That's no excuse.
God, I'm trying though. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to bring people with me that can kind of like capture the moments and stuff. But as an operator, like I'm still in the mix. So, but shout out to the Higher Collection brand on Instagram. Also check out our genetics company, Burn Clean Genetics, on Instagram, and then me, just Kern Alexander on Instagram.
Kern, solid, man. I appreciate you coming through,
I appreciate you for having me,
man.
No
doubt, man. I guess we're gonna finish this show and go do what we do after the show, man.
For sure. Yo, hey, shout out Sovereign Sweets. That's what we're gonna pull up to next.
Hey, real quick though, also shout out to Ayana Leaf. Like, hey Yana. Shout out to Ayana Leaf for dropping off these dope packs on us, these hemp wraps, hemp paper.
Let me see. We might put in the order. We might put these on our site.
Bro,
we gonna put in the order for these.
You
just
because
we gonna support your business.
Black woman-owned business, man. We got to support. We got to make sure we lift each other up.
We're gonna put this on our menu. Yeah, for sure.
So I appreciate you coming through. Definitely make sure y'all check out the Higher Collection. Make sure you follow my man Kern Alexander. And that's Cash Color Campus, high level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv.